Good evening. The Queensland opposition has unveiled a grand plan to ease congestion on one of the state's busiest motorways by building a second M1 corridor. But Tim Nicholls isn't promising to fund the project. Instead, he wants Labor to turn his dream into a reality. Brendan Savage reports.
Fixing the M1 nightmare has been a political football for decades. Today, it received another dusting off.
But what we need now is to work on a vision for the second M1.
The LNP's proposal, a 4-lane motorway running parallel to the existing M1 between Stapleton and Nerang.
And we believe at $500 million that this is a project that should be supported by the government.
But despite raising the idea, Mr Nicholls refused to say if the LNP would promise to build it if it won the upcoming election, instead launching a petition to put the pressure on Labor.
We're not the government at the moment. Anastasia Palaszczuk is in the government.
It's quite extraordinary that Tim Nicholls has refused to commit to this project, but he's happy to petition the Palaszczuk government to build this project.
The RACQ says it should be built.
This is a preserved corridor, one that's been set aside for future infrastructure. That's good news because it means we don't have issues around resumptions and the like.
The Govt government lost 9 seats when it proposed an alternative to the M1 in the 90s. It proved to be electoral poison when it became known as the Koala Toll Road.
This is completely different from the proposal that Labor put forward in the 90s.
Conservationists say the future stage, which would cut through the Koala coast between Stapleton and Brisbane, is what they're most worried about.
It's collapsed 80% over 20 years. The last thing it needs is another great big freeway right through the middle of it.
But with congestion between Brisbane and the Gold Coast worsening, only time will tell. Brendan Savage, 10 Eyewitness News.